Listen to this. I don't really like to go to sporting events,
I know that.
At all.
I am well aware.
And it's somehow, but I tend to, like, when I try to weigh things out, like, do I want to go to a professional basketball game with a friend? No, I don't. If I can take my kids, because my kids really want to go, then I would go.
Sure.
Right? So I actually went to a professional basketball game last night, and I stayed the whole time, and I realized...
Wow,
that's a
like
first.
a first for you.
But I know it was, but there's a reason I stayed the whole time. I got a little bit of a bind. But I realized that it was a really good game. I didn't watch 1 second of the game. I was on my phone trying to tweet Instagram stuff. I was texting different people in the arena that I knew were there. And I realized at the end, I was here the whole game. I didn't watch 1 second of the game. But let me tell you what happened.
So you're like, how do you know it's a really good game? The first thing you
because
said
it was at the end.
It's a really good game.
It was one of those deals that the crowd's going nuts, and it's like 1 point, and everyone's looking up, and I'm just looking at people standing up.
I think basketball is one of those things. It's way better to be at in person because it just moves so fast. It's so electric.
It was the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns. And one of my son's baseball player dads put me in a spot, kind of said, do you want to take your kid to the game? And I was like, oh, there's usually too late for me. No, it's an early game. I was like, oh, damn. So I said, sure. So I went to the game, and the seats were like, average seats. They're not like floor seats or anything like that. They were middle of the road seats. Nothing special, no special parking, just like normal.
Mm-hmm.
So go to the game, and then I'm there, and I realized my son Dutch. It's his first basketball game. I've taken Kemp to a basketball game before, but not Dutch. Dutch is 8, so Dutch is like in shock and in awe of this whole place. And they're both. They know all the players on the team. They love the Mavericks. They just love. I mean, Kemp's favorite player, I can't remember his name, but he's on the Mavericks.
Dirk Nowitzki?
No, it's another guy.
I'm out.
And he's like,
that's as deep as I go.
They're totally glued. But here's what fascinating. You know how I took my car in to get my car all jacked, pimped up?
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
right?
we know.
And remember I told you that when I was there at the pimp up place, that's where a bunch of professional athletes are there all the time?
Yeah.
I see, the game's already started, I see the owner, Jim, of the car place walking in. And he's got 4 guys with him. And so I see him walking in, so I text him, I go, hey, I see you at the game. And he's like, where are you? And he sits on the floor. Right? And I'm like, oh, I'm like in so-so section, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, do you have the passes to get free ice cream and food at halftime? I said, no, but we're cool. And he goes, no, I'll have somebody come get you. I'm like, okay. So 2 minutes before halftime, a lady comes over to my seats, grabs me and my boys, takes us down to the special area at halftime where there's buffets of food, all you can eat ice cream.
What?
All these famous people are there, right? And the Jim from Pro Motorsports is there, and he's got these 4 guys with him. And the 4 guys walk to go get food. And then I say to Jim, I go, oh, who are those guys? He goes, oh, they're NFL players. I go, what are their names? So he says their names. I'd have to look at my Instagram to see who they are. I don't remember. But Kemp is like, oh, he plays for the Browns. And then Kemp goes, oh, that other guy plays for the Broncos. So I'm like, holy smoke. At the same time, another guy I know shows up. He just bought Realty Executives.
It's a big realty
he bought them,
firm.
my friend Jeff. So Jeff happens to have seats next to Jim. So I tell Jeff, I go, yeah, my kids just met these people. And he's like, hey, why don't you give your kids my seats? I'm like, wow. And then the football player goes, yeah, they can sit with us. So I'm like, next thing you know, I'm just in the spur of the moment. My kids leave with these ball players. So 2 of my kids leave, and they go sit on the floor.
Oh, that's cool.
For the whole second half. And I'm back in my little nosebleed section, and I'm trying to see, and I can see my kids on the floor watching the game, and I can see my kid talking to this guy that plays for the Broncos, and I put a bunch of pictures on Instagram.
So you can see them down on the floor.
I can see them on the floor watching the game. They're eating popcorn. Like, they have no freaking clue.
They have no idea.
Like,
yeah, this doesn't happen to people.
I want to tell them, remember the first half of the game? That's how normal people watch the game. Normal people
if they're lucky.
Yeah. So so that's why I had to stay the whole game, because I couldn't get down there to get them. I didn't have access to go get my kids. So
my children are down there. Sure they are, sir.
Hey, no, my kids are right there on the, like, what? No, I swear to God, my kids are there. So I had to, like,
Is that the same security guards?
No,
that are always
all
there?
New security guards.
Oh,
so
we got to make new rounds.
Yeah, so finally I get down to my
guys.
kids, and they take pictures on the floor. But you could see the ball players that they're with on my Instagram at Johnjay Van S.
You mean all the guys that have kicked us out of other events there? They're not working there? Because we become friends with them.
1 or 2 of them are still there, but they weren't on the floor to let me go get my kids. So I had to wait. And then my worst nightmare of all time, which is why I leave at halftime all the time, I get in the car to leave, and I'm stuck in traffic for 45 minutes trying to get out of there.
Sure.
But is Dutch and Kemp, I mean, they've got to be freaking out on the way
They
home.
were blown away, man. And what I love, this is going to sound small, when I get home, they both, like, on their own. Thanks, Dad. We had a great time.
Oh,
Now that's the way to do it.
Huge.
And I was like, wow, all right. Yeah.
You're welcome.